Most people remember the early 2000s as a time of optimism. New music platforms, new gadgets, a sense that the future was wide open. But underneath that optimism, there was a moment that permanently changed our daily lives, even if we didn't fully notice it at the time. This is not just a story about one event. It's about how that event quietly rewired our sense of safety, privacy, travel, technology, and identity. And why understanding those hidden changes might change how you see the world today. Do you remember where you were on that September morning in 2001? Share your memory in the comments. I'd love to read your stories. Before 2001, life had friction. Flying felt casual. You could arrive at the airport with a bottled drink, walk with your loved ones to the gate, and keep your shoes on. Government agencies had strict limits on when and how they could monitor private communication. Immigration policy in the United States was moving toward new pathways to citizenship. Daily life contained pockets of boredom. If you were waiting in line or sitting on a train, there was nothing to do except think or talk to a stranger. Experiences felt more tangible because they weren't constantly mediated through screens. All of that changed in a span of less than 90 minutes. In the early hours of September 11, 2001, coordinated attacks on two iconic buildings in New York City and one in Washington, D.C. took place. Nearly 3,000 people were killed, and the United States soon found itself embroiled in wars that would cost an estimated $8 trillion. These devastating acts raised new and troubling questions about security, privacy, and the treatment of people. Suddenly, the world felt unsafe. Airports installed metal detectors, then body scanners. Shoes and liquids became suspicious. Waiting in a security line became normal. Was your first flight after that day different? Did you feel the tension? Comment below. The loss of life was heartbreaking. But beyond the human tragedy, the long-term effects reshaped society in ways most people didn't anticipate. The immediate aftermath: fear and unity. In the days and weeks that followed, there was an intense feeling of unity. People donated blood, volunteered, and hung flags. For a brief moment, differences seemed to melt away. Yet at the same time, fear seeped into everyday life. Because the attacks were carried out by individuals from abroad, suspicion toward foreigners increased. Immigration enforcement operations were reshuffled and placed under a new Department of Homeland Security. Policies that had been on the table, like creating a path to citizenship for millions of undocumented immigrants, were quickly replaced by escalated enforcement and racial profiling. Many Arab, Muslim, and South Asian communities were targeted for special registration, detention, and deportation. Can you imagine being singled out every time you went through an airport simply because of your name or appearance? Share your thoughts below. The war on terror and endless conflicts. Politically, the response was swift. The United States launched military actions abroad that would become the country's longest war. 2 decades later, those regions are still dealing with violence. These wars cost trillions of dollars, resources that could have gone to healthcare, education, or infrastructure. That cost is controversial. Was it worth it? Many people believe that the conflicts didn't make the world safer. Others argue they prevented even worse outcomes. Let me know your opinion in the comments. Respectful debate is encouraged here. The USA Patriot Act, redefining privacy. One of the most significant and least understood effects was the USA Patriot Act, passed just weeks after the attacks. This law amended existing surveillance laws and gave government officials broad authority to monitor phone calls, emails, and text messages. Administrators could go to a secret foreign intelligence surveillance court and request permission to monitor communications. When smartphones arrived, public authorities gained the ability to track physical locations via geolocation data. In other words, the government's power to conduct mass surveillance expanded dramatically. Civil liberties advocates were alarmed. They argued that the balance between privacy and security had tipped too far toward security. Does it bother you that your calls and messages could be monitored without you knowing? Or do you believe it is a necessary trade-off for safety? Comment privacy if you value privacy, or security if you think surveillance is justified. By 2015, a partial reform called the USA Freedom Act curtailed some bulk collection of phone data. Yet the United States still lacks a comprehensive national privacy law, and debates about where to draw the line continue. The attacks also changed how the government treated immigrants. Programs like the National Security Entry-Exit Registration System specifically targeted certain communities. Before the program ended in 2016, more than 14,000 individuals faced deportation. The broader immigration system became more restrictive. For asylum seekers, the Patriot Act and subsequent laws expanded the grounds under which people could be denied entry. For many, this meant living in fear of arbitrary detention or deportation. It also meant missing out on the chance for a better life. What do you think? Did these measures make the country safer, or were they a form of discrimination? Share your honest view. The 2000s also saw the explosion of smartphones, social media, and constant connectivity. Paradoxically, while governments gained the ability to monitor citizens voluntarily started sharing more than ever. We began carrying GPS trackers in our pockets. We posted our personal thoughts, photos, and locations online. Privacy, once the default, became something we have to fight for. According to privacy scholars, the pendulum swung wildly toward security immediately after the attacks. The Patriot Act amended both foreign and domestic surveillance laws, significantly reducing legal protections for individual privacy. Later revelations about mass data collection, like the programs exposed by whistleblowers, showed just how much information was being gathered. Many people were shocked to learn how easy it was for authorities to track phone calls and internet activities. Question: were you surprised when you learned about mass surveillance programs? Why or why not? Let's talk about it. While technology exploded after 2001, not everyone benefited equally. Some communities still lacked meaningful broadband access, leaving them digitally invisible and excluded. This digital divide means that in the event of another national crisis, many people might not even know it is happening. The rapid pace of change has also created a parallel increase in anxiety and insecurity. According to surveys, 2/3 of people worry about the speed of technological change and struggle to distinguish real from fake information. Does technology make you feel more connected or more overwhelmed? Your answer might reveal how these post-2001 changes are affecting you personally. One of the darkest legacies of the attacks is the rise in discrimination and hate crimes. Immediately after 2001, hate crimes targeting certain ethnic and religious groups surged. Many people with Arab, Muslim, or South Asian backgrounds were treated with suspicion, harassed, or violently attacked simply because of their appearance or faith. This xenophobia wasn't limited to the US. It echoed across many countries as fear spread globally. If you belong to a community that felt targeted after 2001, how did it affect your sense of belonging? Sharing your experience can help others understand the human cost of fear. At the same time, thousands of people across different backgrounds came together to oppose racist laws and policies. Grassroots coalitions fought against excessive enforcement strategies, demanding a more humane approach. These movements remind us that even in times of fear, solidarity can push society toward greater justice. The wars and security measures after 2001 diverted enormous amounts of money. Imagine what $8 trillion could have done for infrastructure, climate action, or healthcare. Domestic spending priorities shifted. Defense budgets grew, while social programs often faced cuts. Culturally, creative industries responded with art that explored grief, resilience, and the loss of innocence. Movies, music, and literature grappled with themes of surveillance and paranoia. Our language also changed. Terms like homeland, Patriot Act, and pre-9/11 world entered everyday conversation. Do you remember a book, movie, or song that captured how you felt about the changing world? Share it in the comments. Let's create a community list. Some of the most controversial debates center on whether the post-2001 policies actually made us safer. Critics argue that mass surveillance did little to prevent attacks and instead eroded civil liberties. Others contend that targeted immigrant registration programs were ineffective and discriminatory. The wars launched in response have been criticized for causing countless civilian casualties and destabilizing entire regions. Yet some officials maintain that these measures deterred further large-scale attacks on U.S. soil. The truth is messy and often painful. It's important to discuss these topics respectfully, acknowledging the lives lost on all sides. In your view, what have we learned in the 2 decades since 2001? Have we struck the right balance between freedom and security, or have we lost something essential? I invite you to think deeply and share your insights. Understanding how one morning in September 2001 reshaped our world helps us prepare for the future. It teaches us that fear can erode freedoms if left unchecked, that laws passed in moments of crisis can have long-lasting consequences, that targeting entire communities for the actions of a few is not only unjust but ineffective. It also reminds us that unity and compassion are powerful responses to tragedy. The outpouring of kindness and solidarity in those first days after the attack shows what is possible when we refuse to give in to hatred. Finally, it calls us to be vigilant about our rights. Debates about privacy and surveillance are not abstract. They touch every text message you send, every website you visit. When you hear about new security measures, ask yourself, does this truly make us safer, or does it quietly chip away at freedoms? The early 2000s are often romanticized as the last era of innocence on the internet. There's truth to that nostalgia, but the tragedy of 2001 reminds us that innocence is fragile. It can be taken away in an instant. By looking honestly at the changes since then, good and bad, we can choose to build a future that honors those lost by protecting the living. If this video resonated with you, please consider sharing it. Drop a comment with your memories or thoughts. Like and subscribe if you want more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our world. And remember, the past isn't gone. It lives in our laws, our technologies, and our daily habits. By understanding it, we gain the power to change what comes next. Thank you for watching. See you in the next exploration of the vanished world.